Welcome back, it's me Lou, and I'm here for an action figure preview. So I recently obtained a set of the new Ghostbuster action figures by Hasbro. I'm not sure if this is the entire set of figures. I at least have the full cast of the core team. I remember seeing a Stay Puft Marshmallow figure at Target, but at the time I passed up on it. Alright, so my intention for this video right now is I'm not going to do an unboxing. What I want to do right now is just kind of give you a sneak preview of things to come, if you will. So since I have these all on card still, I thought it'd be fun to show them all off together as a group. And then I'll do future videos where I review each figure individually. But for now, I just kind of want to take a look at the set, mint on card. So yeah, these are the new Ghostbuster action figures by Hasbro. I've seen these at Target, and I actually didn't buy all of these at Target. So one of the Target stores near me, for whatever reason, the last month they've started posting signs in the toy aisle, more specifically the action figure aisle, stating that due to the current situation, they're limiting the amount of action figures that collectors could buy to only one figure per day. So at first, I'm kind of like, I'm not sure about if they're going to enforce that once you go to the checkout counter. But I remembered a month or two ago, I was there and I bought Pokemon cards, and they had a similar sign saying that, they'd limit you to only like 2 trading card purchases per day. And when I was there, I bought I think 2 Pokemon booster packs and a binder. But then when I went to go check out, it registered as 3 Pokemon products. So they had to pull one away. So they were actually enforcing the limit rule. And it kind of sucked because I went to one Target and they had the entire set of the core team. But they had the sign up saying you can only purchase 1 figure at a time. And I'm like, you know what? I don't want to leave with this 1 figure. And I don't want to be one of those weird douchebags that buys 1 figure, leaves the store, and comes back, multiple times just to get the entire set. So I'm like, all right, I'll just pass on these for now. And luckily for me, I actually found these on Amazon. So I bought 2 of the figures on Amazon, and then, or at least the only 2 available on Amazon. And then the other ones, I got lucky, and I was able to buy these individually at my local Target. So it was kind of a weird mess of just trying to obtain these figures. So yeah, these are the new Ghostbuster action figures from Hasbro. I don't know the whole deal behind these, because there's a new Afterlife movie coming out, but that's kind of featuring a new cast of younger characters. So I'm not sure if this is supposed to be more of kind of like a shout out to the old movies, or I'm not really sure what this is altogether, to be honest. So last year we had the release of the Ghostbuster plasma figures, and those are kind of on par with what you expect of a Marvel Legends or a Star Wars Black series. And Hasbro also re-released kind of like those vintage figures from the 90s, and so those are based off of the original cartoon series from back in the day, and those were a Walmart exclusive, I believe. I remember there was a really big initial excitement about the Plasma series figures, but it seemed like after a month of them being on shelves, they started to peg warm, and likewise same with the Walmart exclusive cartoon figures. When I saw these, it was kind of a surprise. I don't always follow a lot of action figure news, partially because I'm busy, and also because I just like to be surprised when I go to the stores. So when I saw these, they took me by surprise. They kind of hit those nostalgia chords, and I'm like, wow, these are pretty neat. Because it seems like a weird hybrid of the old retro style action figures, yet these characters represent more so the actual actors that you see in the live action films. So here's Egon, it's kind of like more of a caricature of actor Harold Ramis. Venkman's kind of like a caricature of actor Bill Murray. Winston is kind of a caricature of actor Ernie Hudson. And then the Ray figure kind of looks like actor Dan Aykroyd. So I saw these in the store, and they looked really cool. And for the price you pay, I believe these are at least, I want to say I paid maybe $9.99 or $10.99 for them. So these are kind of price range in that Hasbro budget line of action figures. It kind of falls in line with the budget like Spider-Man, budget Avengers, budget G.I. Joe figures, where you're getting a figure that's roughly 5 to 5.5 inches tall, and then the price range falls within that $9 to $10 price range. These are really cool because even though they're kind of a much more basic budget figure, I really think this appeals to like the older collectors, especially if you're a fan of the live action movies, and coupled that with being a fan of the cartoon series. You know, it's like a nice blending of that aesthetic. You know, you kind of have the retro look, but these reflect more so the live action characters, and I think that's really, really neat. And as I stated, you know, this is more of just a preview video. I just wanted to show off the figures mint on card and talk about them. I would like to do, you know, hopefully soon, individual reviews of each action figure, just so I could go a little bit more in depth. Because if I unbox these all now and reviewed them, you know, there's a chance this video could run for like an hour long, and, you know, I just want to keep it kind of limited to maybe like 15 minutes. So yeah, real quick, let's just preview what these figures look like, mint on card, and talk a little about their features, their accessories, and the package design. Let's start off with Ray first. So what we have here, we have the Ghostbusters Ray Stantz action figure. It's a Ghostbuster figure. It's recommended for ages 4 and up. These are produced by Hasbro, as I stated previously. And right off the bat, I love the package design. It's subtle. It's not overdone. It's very colorful. It's very eye-catching. And I think the way everything's framed in the package really sells you on the product. First off, we have a very, very iconic Ghostbusters logo. And then we have the bubble here, and it's beautiful. You have the character framed in the middle. And off to the side, he has his proton pack, and it comes with a fun ghost accessory. And the ghost accessory is cool because it's not just like a static toy. It actually has a play feature involved, which is awesome. There's a cardboard insert here, which kind of displays what the play feature does. On the lower right corner, there's this kind of like seal. You know, it says Classico, Classic, Classic K. It has the word classic in, I think, 4 or 5 different languages. And you see Slimer in 1984 above it. So this is kind of like, you know, it's a nice shout out to that these are based off the original 1984 character designs. I love the little graphic here. It's a cool, like almost cartoon, comic book, anime version of Ray Stantz. It looks really awesome. The color scheme, like I said, is very eye-catching. You know, this really pops off the shelves. And on the back, again, we see what the play feature is. And this is called the Ghost Fright feature. And they have a little bio on the character, which is a nice surprise. Unfortunately, it's only like a sentence long. Even though it looks like a paragraph, it's just written in multiple languages. So it describes Ray as, the paranormal expert Ray Stantz is always ready for any ghost he faces. And that's pretty much it. I say this all the time, you know, toy companies, there's so much room for potential with the back of the card backs, but they never really do anything with it. You know, there's so much of it is just given up to just like, you know, all the legalese and copyright info. But I think it's a great opportunity for them to like really market the figures and really sell them to you. You know, if I'm a child and I buy these toys, you're not going to know what other figures are in the line, and I think it'd be awesome if they just gave you like the lineup right here. You know, give the fans and kids small little portraits of all the different figures available, just so it gets them excited and amped. It's almost like a checklist telling you, you know, these are the figures you need to collect. So I think Hasbro is really missing the boat on that. Mattel, on the other hand, they're great with providing that on the Masters of the Universe card backs, on the Masters of the Universe Origin card backs. They really give you the kit and caboodle. They have a small little beautiful image on the top with a brief description. You know, on the left side, they'll show you all the play features. And on the right side, they'll show you all the figures in the wave. So it's essentially like a checklist telling you, okay, you know, you can check off, you have He-Man, you have Skeletor, blah, blah, blah. With this, I don't know which characters are in this wave. I don't know if there's, besides the core team, if there's ghost characters. So I think Hasbro, they really missed the boat. They should really do more to, like, sell you and advertise the other figures on the back of the cards. It's a missed opportunity, and for me as a collector who also likes to collect things mint on card, it makes the package more appealing. So examining Ray, the likeness of Dan Aykroyd, it's kind of there. As I said earlier, this is more of a caricature, so it's a much more cartoon rendition of actor Dan Aykroyd. The uniform details, it's awesome. He has the straps for the proton pack. He has his name badge. He has his belt buckle. It looks like this might be a 5-point articulation on the action figure. So it looks like he just might have his head turns and his arms and legs just rotate and move. So this is a budget figure, so it's not going to have like crazy amount of articulation. Even though Hasbro's dabbling with more articulation in their superhero lines, I think the fact that this comes with a lot of accessories makes up for the lack in articulation. And not only that, but I think they're trying to keep in tune with the original like cartoon figures from back in the day, and those were only like 5 points of articulation also. So I'm looking forward to taking this out and reviewing it next to his cartoon counterpart and also the Plasma series. So we'll do that in a future video when I review this figure solo. So let's move on. Okay, so next we have Winston Zetamore. So this kind of is supposed to look like actor Ernie Hudson. And it's just like the other figures, this is more of a cartoon caricature of the actor. And I'm kind of curious if the body types are all the same. Let me examine these. So from what I gather, it looks like the actual figure mold, they all share, I think, the same body. The only thing different is the paint application. Like, they'll have the individualized name badges. But for the most part, I want to say I think the bodies are the same. Because as I'm looking at this, it looks like the folds in the uniforms are identical. And, same with the hands. It doesn't look like they have different hands from one another. But each character does have a unique head sculpt. And the proton packs look the same. But it's cool that you're getting unique ghost characters with each character. So essentially, in some ways, you're actually getting 2 action figures. In addition to getting like a Ghostbuster team member, you're getting a ghost. So, if you collect the whole set, essentially you'll have 8 figures. You'll have the 4 core members and you'll have 4 ghost characters, which is really fun. As for these ghost characters, I'm not sure what they're supposed to represent specifically. I don't know if they represent something from a new cartoon or if they're actually pulled from the IDW comic books. So, because they don't resemble any of the characters I remember seeing in the original live-action films. But they could be taken from the new Afterlife movie. We'll see. So for Winston Zetamore, you get a really cool graphic here. I love that image. I love the art style a lot. It looks really cool. And on the back, it describes Winston as always dependable. Winston Zetamore never backs down from a ghostly challenge. And then we have the play feature here. So this guy kind of like, it almost looks like that Big Boy mascot. And then he kind of pops open, and then in his belly and chest, you kind of see the face of the ghost revealed. So this looks really fun. So yeah, we have Winston. And let's move on next to Peter. So we have Peter Venkman. This represents actor Bill Murray. His expression, I don't know, the expression on these, they're kind of, I won't say hit or miss for me. So let me take a look. Let's look at their faces real quick. So they all kind of have a very neutral face, which is all right. I mean, it's very easy for Hasbro to sculpt them, like maybe give them that scared look, like, oh my god, I'm in shock, I see a ghost. Or maybe give them a look that's a little bit more, I don't know, a little bit more jovial, or, kind of leaning more towards something that's a little bit more light and, I don't know, fun, but a lot of these characters, they kind of look very serious, which is all right. I think for me, I'd appreciate a much more, not necessarily cheerful expression, but something that doesn't look so somber. Like this guy looks like, I don't know, he was just like called up for jury duty or something. He looks very like, I don't want to be here. And I mean, I don't, because it's not really reflective of Peter's personality. You know, in the live action movies, Bill Murray's very charming, and I think that should be reflected in his facial expression. Egon's the serious one, so he has a very serious looking expression. Winston's supposed to be the everyday man, and I guess this is okay. But yeah, I kind of wish they did something more with their expressions. Like, you look on the portraits here. Here he looks very determined, very motivated, but then here it looks like he's just kind of like, he's just there. So as much as I like the figures, I think they could have done a little bit more with their expressions, especially since these are capturing more of a cartoon aesthetic. You know, maybe exaggerate their facial features a little bit more. But moving back to Peter, it's great. He kind of has his receding hairline, which I think is awesome. So he also comes with a proton pack and an additional ghost. All these ghosts, their heads kind of resemble Slimer in a weird way, but it's not actually Slimer. Beautiful artwork here. You know, like I said, this artwork here, his facial expression is spot on. He looks a little devious, a little bit mischievous, very charming. Whereas here, he's kind of pale, and he's like, what's going on? You know, doesn't really sell you on the character. On the back, it describes Peter as being the fast-talking Peter Venkman is ready to face the spookiest ghouls around. And then we have a photo of the play feature. And just like the other ones, it's a lot of like closed compartments that open up. Like, it looks like his head closes but then splits in half, kind of revealing. It almost looks like a tongue. Or kind of, it also reminds me of the Sarlacc pit from Return of the Jedi. But I love the fact that all these figures come with very different and very unique ghosts. They're all very colorful. They all kind of really stand out. So that's very fun. And lastly, let's take a look at Egon. So Egon, this is portraying actor Harold Ramis, but a much more animated interpretation of the character. It would have been nice if they gave you a couple of paint applications on the proton pack, but as I've stated before, these are budget action figures, so it's, you know, they're not going to give you too much. I'm surprised none of these figures come with a ghost trap, to be honest. That's something we saw with the Plasma series, where each figure, in addition to having a proton pack, each figure would come with like a different accessory. You know, one might come with the goggles, one might come with the ghost trap. Others came with like the proton streams. Love the artwork again. Beautiful drawing. This one looks... Alright, so I take it back. I think... Alright, so I take it back. I believe not all of these... Alright, so this is... Alright. Yeah, okay, I take it back completely. So with the ghosts, there's not 4 unique ghost molds. There's only 2. The only thing different is that they're color swapped. So I stand corrected. So they're actually giving you only 2 different styles of ghosts, but they're just colored differently. So the ghosts that come with Winston and Egon are actually the same ones. It's that kind of like big boy mascot. But whereas Winston's is colored like magenta and yellow, Egon's ghost is colored blue and orange. But the play feature is the same. You know, the belly splits open, revealing the face of the ghost. And it looks like Peter and Ray share the same ghost, but different colors. Yeah, so Peter's ghost, they both look like they both kind of resemble Slimer. But Peter's ghost, there's more paint application on the face versus Ray's, where Ray's ghost is missing paint application on the face, which is weird, but it has a different colored arms. So yeah, you're only getting 2 different styled ghosts, but they're just doing color swaps. So I mean, that's alright. At least you're getting an additional character with your toy. So moving back to Egon, his bio describes him as the brains behind the Bustin'. Egon Spengler takes on the most frightening ghosts in town. So yeah, we have Egon here. As I stated earlier, the only other figure I've seen in this line, which I don't have, is the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man. You know, I don't know if they make any of the other characters like Janine. But there's hope. I like to think if this line is successful, that maybe they'll branch off and do, you know, maybe at least 1 or 2 more waves. Maybe give us the Sigourney Weaver character, Louis Tully, or, you know, even give these characters in their street clothes. I think that'd be kind of a nice, fun, you know, refreshing take on the action figures. Like, you know, maybe give Egon in his university duds, Winston in his street clothes. So next up, we'll save the best for last. We have the Ecto 1. So this is the vehicle that came out in addition to the action figures. Now, I actually bought this first before I bought the figures. I love the Ecto 1. I passed up on the Plasma Ecto 1 just because it wasn't more so that it was out of scale, but for me it seemed a little bit pricey, and at that price, I you know, it didn't really serve a purpose for me, because I already had a couple of Ecto 1s in my collection. I have the original Kenner one, I have a remote-controlled one, I have the Extreme Ghostbusters Ecto 1, which I think is really underrated. It's based off of the old 90s cartoon, or late 90s cartoon, and that thing is beautiful. If you just Google images of it, the Extreme Ghostbusters Ecto 1, it's really cool. It's very stylized, and I love that thing. And I also have the Playmobil. They made both versions of the Ecto 1, and I think those are, for me, my favorite versions of the Ecto 1. They're electronic, you know, you can store all the proton packs, you can put in all the figures. Playmobil is a very underrated toy line, and they've been making some beautiful, beautiful Ghostbuster toys. Everything from the headquarters, to the vehicles, to the ghosts, to the actual characters. You know, they're hitting every sweet spot at a very, very affordable price. So I highly recommend those. You know, Google or look on Amazon, look up the Playmobil Ghostbuster toys and accessories. Very underrated, very awesome. So coming back to this new Hasbro Ecto 1, this is clearly inspired by the new movie because it has the kid and the gunner station. Really, really awesome artwork. It's kind of weird though, because as much as I like this package design, it doesn't really sell me on the toy itself, because I think what would have helped was maybe actually having a photograph maybe on the corner of the real toy, or even having a window just so you can see what the toy looks like on the inside. Because in all honesty, when I saw this package, I couldn't make heads or tails if this was the front of the box or the back of the box, especially since, you know, the word Ghostbusters, it's written so small in a smaller font towards the bottom. You know, even though, you know, I have the logo up here, I think it could have done with something like at the top, like a masthead or a title, to really, you know, drive home what's going on. You know, it's clear that, you know, you're getting the Ecto 1, but there's just something about this package design that, even though it's really bright and colorful and it features an amazing graphic, it seems like it could do a little bit more to sell you on the actual toy itself. But once you turn to the back of the box, you do see the toy that you're getting. I believe this toy, I bought it for maybe, I want to say maybe it's like $29, I think. Which, for me, it wasn't a bad deal. I love play sets, and it's interesting because this is advertised as an Ecto 1 play set, not an Ecto 1 vehicle. And for me, I think I lean more towards buying play sets than vehicles, but the fact that this is actually both. But they sell you on the fact that it's a play set, which I found kind of to be interesting. The Ecto 1's one of those things for me, it's always kind of like a must-have. It's almost like the Millennium Falcon. Like, anytime they release a new Millennium Falcon, regardless of the scale or, you know, what it is, I'm always quick to buy it just because I'm so fond of the vehicle. Likewise, for me, the Ecto 1, it's a very iconic vehicle from the 80s. During the 80s, we got all sorts of crazy vehicles like Knight Rider, the A-Team van, the Turtles Party Wagon. Helicopters were a big deal back in the 80s. There was Airwolf, Blue Thunder. So the Ecto 1, it really falls into that category of this like really iconic vehicles. It's almost like the classic Batmobile or the Munsters dragster. But this is cool. I love the aesthetic. It's very cartoony. It's almost like a callback to the old 90s Kenner Ghostbusters Ecto 1 from the cartoon. But it's clearly based off the new movie because you also get the ghost trap that's on wheels. And, it's like I said, you also get the gunner station. And it looks like there's a missile pod that shoots a missile. And it looks like it's repositionable. So you can either place it on top of the roof. And I believe also on the side of the gunner station. And there's also a peg on the chair for the characters. So what's interesting for me is that you look at the box and then it shows the kid. And this is clearly based off of Afterlife. Yet all the figures I've seen on the shelves, I've only seen the old school cast. Now I'm not sure if that's only because they've only released these right now because they don't want to spoil the movie. Or I don't know. But either way, awesome vehicle. I'm looking forward to reviewing this. We'll do an in-depth review in a future video. But right now I can tell you that if you're a Ghostbusters fan and or if you're just really nostalgic for your older toys, I think this is a must purchase. Even if you don't buy the new figures, I think this is a great piece to complement your old retro Ghostbuster figures. I believe the scale might be somewhat comparable, so your old Kenner figures might be able to work with this. The Plasma series, I'm not sure. They might be a little bit too big, but we'll only know once I get to review this video, and then unbox it. So let's wrap this up. As I said before, this was just a preview video. I just want to give you all a taste of everything mint on card, mint on box while I still have it. So the plan is right now I'll do individual video reviews, and I'll kind of, hopefully, when I release some kind of, I don't want to put them all too close together, maybe spread them out and separate them by a video. So until then, thank you for checking out this preview video. I hope you found it informative. If you've seen these toys at your local stores, give them a look-see. Some of these, at least in my opinion, are worth buying if you're a Ghostbusters fan, if you're a fan of the old Kenner toys, or if you pass up on the Plasma series. These are a great, much more affordable alternative. So once again, my name is Lou. Thank you so much for checking out this video. If you're a new viewer or subscriber, welcome. If you're a returning viewer, thanks for checking this out, and I always greatly appreciate your support and comments. So everyone, take care, and I'll talk to you later.